A dairy farm explosion has killed nearly 18,000 cattle at a dairy farm in Texas.
And severe weather is striking South Florida, leaving cars submerged in the rainfall.
And a new bill that could impact the way university and college professors teach. We'll have more later on in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
We open with breaking news this morning. Plano police have evacuated Collin College's Plano campus after receiving reports of an active shooter on the campus. Emergency alerts were sent out to students warning them of an active assailant at 9:58 a.m. this morning. Police are saying that there is no evidence of a shooting or any victims. They are calling it a false swatting call. We will keep you updated with any new developments.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Piper Gifford.
And I'm April Pierdon.
A student in Mansfield is facing criminal charges after bringing a loaded gun to campus yesterday. According to staff at Mansfield Timberview High School, no student or teacher was harmed. The investigation is still underway, and no information has been released about the student or the gun that was found. A letter sent to parents by the principal stated that the gun was found in the student's backpack after a parent reached out to the district. Students have said that campus officials kept quiet about the incident when it was occurring, and most students found out through hearsay. Tennessee lawmaker Justin Pearson, who was expelled by the Tennessee State Legislature just last week, has been reappointed. He was expelled last week after him and two other representatives brought a gun reform protest to the House floor, which was an action the Republican lawmaker said violated House regulation. CNN's Kayla Solomon reports.
We've got a problem in Nashville, and it's called a promise that they're holding on to with this status quo. Yeah, see, their allegiance is to the way that things are.
Less than a week after expulsion, Memphis Representative Justin J. Pearson is heading back to Nashville after a vote by the Shelby County Commission.
They didn't know the Shelby County Commission was filled with some courageous leaders who their threats of not giving us resources wouldn't stop. Who their threats about withdrawing funding or stopping funding wouldn't stop.
That final tally, 7 votes in favor, made by all 7 Democrats who were present.
I didn't, because I know my colleagues, and they knew that this was not a just process. And then, as we said, thousands of people from not only here but from around the country emailing and saw what we saw, and that was pure racism at the state level.
But noticeably missing during the vote were the 4 Republican commissioners.
I heard some of them had doctor's appointments or some other appointments that they couldn't be here again.
In a written statement Wednesday afternoon, Commissioner Mick Wright said he was leaving this vote up to his Democratic colleagues and said in part, while returning Mr. Pearson to office is the preference of many who have contacted me, I cannot defend his choices on March 30th, nor can I in good conscience contribute to what I see as a breakdown in our representative system of government. Despite the people missing, the vote was a cause for celebration once outside the commission chambers.
They tried to kill democracy. They tried to expel the people's choice and the people's vote. And they awakened a sleeping giant.
Tennessee law allows local legislative bodies to appoint an interim House member to fill in seats of expelled lawmakers until further notice. The next steps for Pearson is to be sworn in as an interim member, but he will have to be reelected to take any part in any legislative session.
Piper, today the weather's been so nice. We are finally getting some nice sunshine after that cold weather we had a couple weeks ago.
It's warm, and I hope it stays warm.
Me too.
Peter Rabel has more for us on the weather. Peter?
Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, no, it's 74 degrees outside. It feels really nice. There's just a few clouds outside just kind of protecting us from the sun a little bit. 11-mile-an-hour winds keep Nice and cool for us. As we move into tonight, though, I want to point out it's going to be 61 degrees, but it'll feel like 62. We're at that point in the year now where it's going to start feeling a little warmer than it actually is the whole time. Those clouds are going to stay. There's going to be 14-mile-an-hour winds, but we're looking at some humidity rolling in, so keep that in mind as we move into tomorrow, where it'll be 81, but it's going to feel like 83. It's going to be a bit hot outside. Still cloudy, though. That'll be nice. And then 17-mile-an-hour winds, which should help us keep cool when we're outside. Just keep in mind that humidity is coming in. We're going to move into a wet heat here instead of a dry heat, so that might be a little less comfortable than we're used to at this point. But this is for us, and we're heading into summer, so that's what we've got to look forward to. That's all I have for your first look. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Peter. A dairy farm has lost nearly 18,000 cattle to an explosion this stormy. This story is upcoming next.
And if you're looking for Friday plans, look no further than right here on campus. The Voice UNT event is happening tomorrow. More details are on the way.
And now we return to fabric.
This is stormy.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
$18,000 cows were killed Monday night after an explosion at a dairy farm in West Texas. The explosion also left one person in critical condition. Side Blatsav tells us more about the blast.
This is the remains of the South Fork Dairy Farm in Dimmitt.
Part of this main part here where the cattle are held is probably a total loss, possibly. The dairy part, there's probably some damage from the smoke and maybe the fire.
Sheriff Rivera says the extent of damage is still under investigation. It all started Monday night when Castro County Sheriff's Office had multiple calls coming in about an explosion and fire. Then more calls came in saying some employees were trapped inside a building. When officers arrived, they found only one worker inside.
Dimmitt Fire personnel entered with their self-breathing apparatuses and were able to pull that person out. Eventually, that person was flown to Lubbock by AeroCare to UMC.
We have learned that worker is a woman and remains in critical condition at last check. Upwards of 18,000 cattle also died. Now for the cause, it's still under investigation.
It was probably what they call a honey badger, and that is what sucked. It's like a vacuum that sucks the manure and water out, and it's possibly that it got overheated, and probably the methane and things like that might have ignited and then spread out with an explosion and the fire.
The Texas legislature, both the House and the Senate, have been signing off on a large number of bills that will have an impact across the state of Texas.
Our own Nomi Sanchez talks with us today about a bill now banning college professors from influencing students to adopt certain beliefs regarding race, sex, or ethnicity. Nomi tells us a little more.
Good afternoon. Yes, this bill is known as Senate Bill 16, which was passed by the Texas Senate Wednesday morning. Now, we've all heard about critical race theory, but what does it actually mean? Well, critical race theory is a social movement around the premise that race is not a biological feature based on physicality, but rather a social construct. This new Texas bill would allow universities and colleges to fire a professor if they attempt to compel students to believe that one social group or belief is superior to another. This bill is an extension of last year's session where the topic was banned in kindergarten through 12th grade public schools. The bill was created to provide an environment of intellectual inquiry and diversity. However, some are concerned that this regulation will hinder conversations regarding topics like systemic racism and education on the discrimination of certain populations throughout history. Now, the Texas Education Agency has advised educators to continue their current curriculum. This is, of course, until the State Board of Education makes any new revisions on the current social studies curriculums. We'll, of course, keep you updated on any new developments. Reporting from Denton, Nomi Sanchez, ntTV News.
Thanks, Nomi. A federal appeals court has frozen parts of a Texas judge's order that would have suspended the FDA's approval of a medication abortion drug. It comes after U.S. District Judge Matthew Kaczmarek issued a ruling last Friday that would have halted the FDA's 23-year approval of the drug mifepristone. Under the appeals court new order, the approval will stay in effect and the drug will remain on the market while an expedited appeal plays out. However, if the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court on Appeals is leaving in place parts of the ruling that halted changes the FDA made to rule around the drug that expanded across to medication abortion pills. Those changes include the end of the requirement that mifepristone be picked up in person, the agency's approval of a generic version of the drug, and adjustments the FDA made to the label instructions for the drug use.
President Biden arrived in Belfast, Ireland, Tuesday night for a celebration of 25 years of peace in Northern Ireland. Irish Prime Minister Taoiseach Leo Varadkar met with President Biden for a formal meeting in the Farmleigh House. Biden and Varadkar spoke about strengthening the U.S.-Ireland relationship. In the meeting, President Biden said, quote, "Our values are the same." Biden also thanked Varadkar for allowing Ukrainian refugees into his country. As Biden's visit continues, he plans to address the Irish Parliament.
Well, April, I think we do have more on weather. What do you think?
I'm excited to see what our weather is going to look like for the rest of the week. And I really hope it's very sunshine weather. What about you, Piper?
Me too.
Well, Peter, what else do you have for us?
Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, we'll talk about the weather we've got coming out and the rest of the week in just a moment. But for now, let's take a look at our weather across North Texas right now. We've got 76 in Graham, 74 in Bowie and Denton, and then 73 here along the west, excuse me. I always get that mixed up. No, but we got 73s and 72s in the east. So we're seeing mostly just mid-70s across the map, and then that 76 in Graham, just a little bit warmer over there. And then as we look across the rest of Texas here, we're going to see 78 in El Paso. They've kind of caught up with the rest of Texas as far as being a little bit cooler. They've been really warm this past week, but I think this is kind of their breath of fresh air, really. And then 70 in Shreveport in the east, so a little bit cooler on that side. 73 in Oklahoma City, which is the same as 74 in Houston. So we're just seeing this column along here, just these mid-70s temperatures across Texas. And then as we look into our 7-day forecast, like you guys were excited to see, I do want to point out 81 tomorrow. It's going to be really warm out tomorrow as far as the rest of the week is concerned, but it's going to be sunny, so keep in mind, it's just going to feel a little bit humid, like I was saying earlier in the show, and a little bit warm, so dress appropriately for that. But as we look into the rest of the week, you'll see the temperatures are going to drop for us a little bit going into the weekend. Sunday is going to be our lowest day of the week there at 72, 50 degrees when you wake up in the morning probably, but that'll heat up, of course, over the course of the day. And then do look that we've got sunny temperatures again until early next week. We're going to have some clouds roll in on Tuesday, see a small chance of rain come in at that time. So keep in mind that that we might have a little bit of rain on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday here. Probably not, though. Just a really low chance right now, but we'll keep you monitored on that. I'll be back on Monday to keep you updated on that. If it's going to have a chance of rain or not, we'll see then. But until then, that's all I have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Peter. Well, parts of the Sunshine State are being battered with storms this week. Heavy rain has fallen in some sections, including Broward County, where a flash flood emergency has been declared. CNN's John Lorick reports.
Several days of nonstop rain in South Florida, transforming roadways into rivers.
So that's where the drainage don't go fast.
On Wednesday, some areas, including Dania Beach and Lauderhill, saw more than a foot of rainfall in 24 hours, with Fort Lauderdale not far behind.
I was driving to pick up my girlfriend from the Amtrak station over by Little River, and I had to make a U-turn right before there was a train intersection because it was completely flooded.
The Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport had to close because the surrounding roads were flooded, and it will remain shut down until at least Thursday afternoon, according to officials there. The city of Fort Lauderdale tweeted that the city crews are working to mitigate issues and keep residents safe. Although the Broward Sheriff's Office is advising residents to stay indoors and off the roads if possible.
It's not recommended. If you see that it's flooded, just turn back around.
Some people had to deal with the wrath of Mother Nature. The mayor of Hollywood, Florida, Josh Levy, told CNN that, quote, "This is the most severe flooding he's ever seen." And it could be a while before things start to dry out. The Weather Prediction Center says strong to severe storms in the Texas area could be heading eastward Thursday and Friday. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Coming up next, we'll hear about how a voting machine company, Dominion, is suing Fox News.
And new updates on graduation parking accessibility for attendees.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
A voting machine company, Dominion, is suing Fox News for $1.6 billion in a defamation case. The jury selection is now underway. Almost 300 potential jurors are making their way to the Delaware Superior Court. Only 24 will be chosen, 12 jurors and 12 alternates. Jurors will be asked about their news consumption, specifically if they watch Fox News. But the judge says that they won't be asked about their feelings on the 2020 election results and the January 6th insurrection. If a jury isn't seated today, the process will carry on tomorrow. This trial will call attention to Fox News' denial in the 2020 election results. It will also shine a light on the role of disinformation in American politics. The court's opening statements are scheduled for this upcoming Monday.
The vote to stay on daylight savings time strongly passed in the Texas House on Tuesday. Only 5 of the 150 members voted for standard time. Before it can be made official, the bill still has to pass through the Texas Senate, be signed by Governor Abbott, and be approved by Congress. Unlike standard time, all states require federal approval to stay on daylight savings.
And here are those Friday plans that we promised earlier in the show. If you love singing or music, this is the perfect event for you. The University Program Council is hosting a variety of local singers who will be competing in a voice-style talent show tomorrow at 6 p.m. It is the UNT Union Lyceum and is free for all UNT students to attend and cheer them on. So be sure and check it out.
UNT students shined a light on an alarming issue concerning graduation parking. The university announced they won't be providing shuttles to the graduation ceremony and, quote, the parking lot will require a 10-minute walk. Students shared the screenshots, the announcement on their social media. The concerns are for people with disabilities and the family members attending the event. Not everyone can walk that distance. The students' concerns made the university put some new things in place. Now, those who need accessible parking are allowed to park in Lot 27, just east of the Coliseum. The UNT Director of Communications, Margarita Venegas, said the website will be updated with new information on April 17th.
In a new experiment updates page, Google say its AI chatbot Bard is getting better at math. The company says it lets people check out the latest features, improvements, and fixes for Bard. That way, people can test them out and give feedback. In its first update, Google says it's working to improve Bard's math and logic skills. It also says users who click Google it will be able to see broadly related topics.
April, I noticed that Peter and Brendan are matching today.
I did, and I don't think I received that pink memo.
I think I did, somehow.
Brendan, did you guys plan this out or what?
Actually, we did plan it with Piper as well. Peter, Piper, and I all planned to wear pink while we were picking a peck of pickled peppers. Jokes aside, the NBA play-ins were this week, and they've been very exciting so far. And will Jeff Bezos buy the Washington Commanders? I didn't know if I could say it.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought...
Can I see your voter registration, please? All right, you're good. No registration, no entry. All right. Let me see your voter registration card, please.
I'm not registered to vote.
No registration, no entry.
Dude, my friends are already in there.
No registration, no entry.
What the?
Join the club. Register to vote today.
Welcome back for sports here on ntTV News at noon. The NBA play-in games have been playing out all week. In the West, the Lakers took the 7 seed over the Timberwolves, and the Hawks beat the Heat in the East. Last night, the 9 and 10 seeds from both conferences battled to the last second. In the first matchup, the Pelicans and Thunders exchanged blow after blow in a fight that saw 9 lead changes. In the end, Brandon Ingram's heroics weren't enough to save the Pelicans. The Thunder struck them down, making 8 of 8 free throws in the final 12 seconds of regulation. They will face the Timberwolves for a final chance at making the playoffs. The second matchup of the night was the Bulls versus the Raptors. The Raptors took the lead early and held on to it halfway through the fourth quarter, mostly due to Zach LaVine channeling Michael Jordan in the last half of the game. He dropped 30 of his 39 points during that period to rally from a 19-point deficit. They now move on to play the Heat in a winner-take-all matchup for the East's 8 seed. The Washington Commanders owner, Dan Snyder, has been at the heart of multiple scandals within his organization the last few years. Tensions between him and other owners reached an all-time high as the other NFL owners were proceeding to vote him out earlier this year. They halted the procedure to vote him out with the caveat that Snyder sells the team. Either way, Snyder should be out within the year. In November, it was rumored Jeff Bezos would partner with Jay-Z in the buyout. However, as of yesterday, the most recent announcement from Bezos that he's not interested in buying. This isn't the first time there's been mixed signals. It seems every few weeks, Bezos and his team put out a new statement, flopping back and forth on being interested or completely out. Maybe it's all part of the negotiations, so he buys it at a good price. If he doesn't get the deal done, then 76ers owner Josh Harris is believed to be the front runner as the new commander-in-chief. That's it for sports. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks so much for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.
We got like 5 minutes